Namaskar, Aurangabad. Uh, I'm very happy to be here with this elite audience of personal managers from all over India. As I stand here, I'm reminded of one mail that I received, in which said that there are two tracks. In one track, a train is supposed to come, and in other track, a train is not supposed to come. The track is, will be not functional for a day. There were 5 children playing on the wrong track, the track in which the train was supposed to come. And there was one child playing on the track on which no train is supposed to come. If you are the driver of the train and the train is approaching and you see 5 kids playing on the wrong track, 1 kid playing on the right track, what will you do? Most people answer that we will divert it to the track where there is only one child. Right? If you can't stop it, if you can stop it, of course, yes. The point today that I'm reminded about that is that all our 2 speakers here, both the speakers, they got affected because somebody else has postponed the time. So, one is the time lag which they have to complete. And second, I admire this wonderful audience. From yesterday, there was a lot of interaction. At least we people are getting our time to speak now. From morning, the audience has been silent. No questions allowed. But you were communicating very well through your claps. The ones you liked and the ones you did not like was very evident from the claps you gave. Since yesterday, we have been deliberating on talent acquisition, retention, innovation, learning, harnessing the potential future of ER and IR. Welcome to the grand finale session on return on investment in HR. Fact, fad or fantasy? Prashant in his speech said the chairman's role is like a president. There are a lot of presidents India has had, many have come and gone, we remember only one. For many people, Abdul Kalam is still the president. I'm going to be a responsible president. What I'm going to do is have a quick, setting of tone in 5 minutes and then have 20 minutes each for both my learned speakers. I will have to put them on time. I'm sorry for that. And then have a quick 15-minute summing up from my side and then we will have the question and answers. ROI in HR, is it fact, fad or fantasy? Most companies say our people are our most important assets. I don't agree because if you don't have the right people, they may be the biggest liabilities. The other aspect is, have you ever seen this asset on the balance sheet? If the investment itself is missing, how can you calculate the return on investment? So the first question is HR an investment or is it perceived as a cost center? Today, recruitments are freezed. The first whiff of recession, recruitments are freezed. Training is cut down, large-scale layoffs. So the topic, first question we need to address is HR an investment, which our speakers would do. Every SBU head has a say in the capital budgeting for its division. Who decides how much to invest in HR? Does the HR head have a say? We all are people from practicing in HR and IR. We know it better. Can HR become a strategic partner and have a say in what's going on in the organization? The HR head of Satyam volunteered to be part of the new group. Nothing happened about that. Every investment has a payback period. What is the payback period for investment in HR? Should we be assigning metrics, calculating in 1 year period in balance sheet or should it be more than a year? Is again a question which our learned speakers can deliberate on. Returns on HR, can all the returns be quantified? If not, how do we measure the ROI in HR? The purpose of this session is to find answers to three vital questions. One, does HR add value to business? If yes, how? How can effectiveness of HR be measured? That is the second question. And the third one, which Deepak was deliberating today, Vikas was also mentioning just now, is can HRs be outsourced totally? Most companies follow attrition as a good HR metric, but is it a good HR metric? We say 17% attrition, 40% attrition, 30% attrition. Frankly speaking, numbers hardly matter. Who is leaving the organization is what matters. Today, when there is a fear of losing the jobs, the people who are moving out are actually the best performers in the organization because they are the ones who get the job outside. If someone says we have low attrition or no attrition, is it good news? I don't know. Are the people staying there because they are contributing and they have a pride in the organization, or are they staying because they don't have jobs anywhere else? One more thing about attrition before I go to employee survey. Vikas in his slide was talking about Thermax, how it has evolved. I was speaking to Unni in lunch and I was inquiring about their HR team because I was closely interacting with them. I am told that the entire HR group has changed. The entire HR team has moved out. Today attrition is happening more in HR and in the CEO level. Somebody posted a very nice question yesterday is, when the guys who are the ones who make decisions, they themselves are changing so fast, then how do we run the organization? I'm sure in conferences like this, a lot of headhunting will happen. There will be changes tomorrow also. The second important metric is employee surveys. How good are employee opinion surveys? We know that people are happy, but are they contributing? Are happy people productive? We don't know. Metrics are means to an end and not the end by themselves. How many metrics should we ideally have for an organization is another question which I would like the speakers to elaborate on. Can we measure HR metrics with financial measures? Financial measures are more of a post-mortem exercise. They tell you what has happened. We need something which can help us make corrective actions. So how good are financial measures in measuring the effectiveness of HR is also something we'll deliberate in this session. Coming to the topic of, is it fact, fad or fantasy? The latest fad in measuring ROI in HR. The latest fad is CFOs, Chief Financial Officers, are taking over the HR function also. I know at least 5-6 organizations where the CFOs have taken over HR. Now that is taking the assigning numbers thing very critically, right? Can number crunchers be equally good in managing human resources? Only time will tell.